What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Joao Felix to Chelsea. Now, obviously we know Chelsea are in a bit of trouble, especially going forward. They need some transfers in. A lot of people have been calling for midfielders, right backs. We all know what we need. We all know that there's a lot of players who are not playing up to par, especially in the front line. Now, it did come out that Chelsea have confirmed that Joao Felix will be joining on a 6-month loan. I think it's 11 million euros, which is like £9 million plus the 5 million or so wages he gets from Atletico because he is on a fat like 250k a week contract, which is quite an expensive loan. But when you get players of that caliber or potential or whatever, he's quite highly rated in the football community, I think. So that's the contract he's on. You pay it. We saw Inter paid Lukaku's wages, or at least a few. Lukaku agreed to take a decrease in wages, I think, to go there. So it's nothing too egregious. A lot of people are like complaining about the cost. It's 6 months. It's going to cost 15 million. I mean, where else is that 15 million going? We need players now, and this is an option for someone who actually might have some quality. I'll be the first guy to admit I'm not the biggest Joao Felix fan. He does remind me a lot of Kai Havertz. I think him and Havertz are very similar players in terms of they both don't really have a main position. They both kind of want to play behind the striker, but in today's football, there isn't really that position where it's like a number 10 or a shadow striker. There isn't really that position in most teams, right? So I think he has a lot of similarities. His goals and assist record, not impressive, but I think there is something to be said about him playing in a very like Brexit ball Atletico Madrid team. Like, let's be real, Simeone does not play attacking football, right? And he is a type of luxury player, similar to someone like Paul Pogba. Like, you don't make him run around. That's not his game. He's not industrious. He's not a Griezmann. Griezmann is industrious. That's why Simeone likes him so much. Morata is industrious, but Felix is not that type of player. He's more of an Eden Hazard type where you need to give him some freedom. So I think, when you talk about his stats, you have to keep that into account. And a lot of people talking about how he scores 8, 9 goals a season, bro. Chelsea's players, they don't do more. Like when Jorginho is your top scorer on fucking 7 goals and they're all penalties. Like, we can't complain about someone scoring 8 goals when Kai Havertz scores less and Mason Mount scores less and Ziyech scores less, Pulisic scores less. I don't think you can complain about that, to be fair. I don't think it's a valid criticism. You can say that he's underperformed for his price tag, which I think is fine. But when you look at the price tags we pay, another criticism of this deal is that it's the shiny new toy syndrome, which Chelsea obviously have. We know that Chelsea buy the shiniest toy in the store every transfer window, whether it's Pulisic, whether it's Havertz, whether it's Werner, whether it's whoever it is, they go for it. They pay the big money. One benefit is this is a 6-month loan. If he's shit and he doesn't work out, he's going back to Atletico Madrid. There is no, we're not going to sign him. If he's good, then he helps us. He can obviously play in the Champions League as well, so he helps us. Hopefully, challenge for top four. Obviously, it's a very outside chance, but you wouldn't put it past us to get there. Champions League, personally, I don't think we have much chance, but we could still get through a few rounds. It's like Dortmund are fucking the best team in the world. We should beat Dortmund still, I think. And then you never know what happens with the draw. You know what I mean? And it's a very Chelsea thing to finish 10th and win a Champions League. So I don't think it will happen, but we still have quality players that can do that. Also, I think it's quite a low risk move, bro. Yeah, it costs money, but like I said, he'll go back at the end of the year. If he plays well, then we might have a signing. I doubt we'll get a cut rate because I think this is Atletico Madrid or like auditioning him right at a top club. He's getting auditioned. Hopefully they're gonna try and make. I think they're gonna try and make as much money from him at the end of the year. And if they do decide to get rid of Simeone, because I just don't think those two people fit, then they have a world class player who's gained some form back, right? And that's one thing a lot of people are saying is very Atletico heavy, the deal. But if he does well for us, I don't think anyone will be complaining. The next thing is how will he be used? A lot of people have been saying that how will Chelsea use him? Obviously, we've had a habit over the last few years, especially under Tuchel, of playing people where they don't play. We've seen Gallagher at right wing back. We saw it under Potter as well. I just think that's kind of a position shortage, bro. Where will he play? Probably left wing. We don't really have a striker for him to play off of. I don't think he's a central striker. I don't think he'll be very successful if we play him where Havertz is playing now. I think neither of them want to play as a central striker. Neither of them have a real physical presence. Okay, I think left wing in this team, the formation we've been playing so far, I think that will be his best position. Hopefully, he'll be used as a creative outlet. I know he's not the most creative player, but he's someone who can impact the game. He's someone who can take players out of the game. He can run in behind. He's not slow. So I think he's obviously very technically good as well. So I think he can create goals. He's obviously not like a top tier creator. You know what I mean? He's not Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, he's not gonna do that. but he can have a similar effect and hopefully lift the players. Obviously, it's one of those 50-50s where either he's going to flop or either he's going to be good. You never know with something like that. There's been also some talk about him being attracted to the Chelsea project. Well, I don't know where that comes from. Obviously, it's a 6-month loan without a buy. So there is no guarantee, even if he fucking loves the club and he does really well, that he's going to be here at the end of the year coming in summer. I also don't think Chelsea will look to buy him unless he is amazing, because Nkunku is coming and you have people coming back from injury. And him and Nkunku, quite similar players. So I think it's more of a stopgap. I think they accelerated it because they need attackers. Obviously, Pulisic is out for weeks. What does that mean, weeks? That means he's going to be out for at least a month, in my opinion. Because if it was only 2 weeks, they would have said 2 weeks. Which means minimum 3, probably more. We know Pulisic's injury record is going to be a while. Sterling as well, they done a scan and they couldn't even diagnose what the issues were. So when it comes to Sterling, we don't know when he'll be back. So that leaves us with 2 underperforming attackers who aren't doing well in Mount and Havertz, who everyone's shitting on. 2 players who don't necessarily, well, Mount had a good goals to assist rate last year, but Kai Havertz, we know he doesn't get involved in many goals. We know he passes the ball backwards at this point. We know he's in terrible form. So hopefully Joao Felix can spark that a little bit. One thing I will say, it can't be worse. It can't be. What's the worst that happens? He plays like the other attackers. They don't give him the ball. Like, they already don't do that. So at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. One thing I will say about the project comment, just to touch on it one more time, I do think that Graham Potter is a manager that can get more out of him than maybe Simeone will. Because we've seen with players like Trossard, I mean, I know it's a lot lower of a caliber, right? But Trossard was a similar type player who was very flary, very technically good when he went to Brighton. I know it was over like a few years, but he managed to turn him into somebody with actual quality in the final third rather than somebody who's technically gifted but doesn't affect the game. I think hopefully he can have a similar effect with Joao Felix, where he can actually affect the game. Overall, is it a good deal for Chelsea? Yeah, I think so. Obviously, it's an expensive loan, but at the end of the day, you're getting somebody who can affect your team enough to get better results. That's all that really matters. Like I said, it can't be worse than what these current people are producing. And this is someone who actually has an incentive to play well. Because if Simeone leaves, he's going to want to be the star of their project going forward. If Simeone doesn't leave and he's looking to move away, this is his chance to audition to get a move to a big club. So someone will actually pay a fee for him. He has all the incentive to play well. Chelsea needs someone who has some drive in their team. We have like 3 players who give a fuck at the moment. I think there has potential in this deal. Obviously, it could go horribly wrong, but I don't think it's a massive financial it's not a massive commitment. Like, if Chelsea were paying right now 60 million for him to come on a permanent deal when he flops, then it's a big deal. But I don't think the 15 million for him is going to be like a big issue overall. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.